So there are a lot of different asset classes that you can invest in, but I personally think that multifamily is the best class. I have almost all of my eggs tied up in this asset class because I think there's just a lot of very unique advantages and benefits to investing in multifamily. So what I thought I would do in this video is give you guys 5 reasons of why I think investing in multifamily is the absolute best choice to do. So with that, let's get at it. What's going on, guys? My name is Lior and I'm a multifamily investor here out of Boston, Massachusetts, and welcome back to my channel. Now, before I get into the meat and potatoes of the video, super quickly, guys, if this is your first time on my channel, first of all, welcome. Second of all, make sure you smash that subscribe button for me. I'm putting out daily content on this channel talking about everything multifamily investing, syndication, raising funds, operations, construction, literally everything in between. So if you're looking to dive deep into multifamily, make sure to subscribe. So with that, let's get right into it and go into reason number 1 why I think multifamily is the best investment asset class. And the first reason is stability, right? And what I mean by stability is if you invest into the stock market, cryptocurrency, anything like that, right? As we've seen over the last 12, 24 months, there's just a lot of external influences that can impact the value of investment, right? And honestly, I just never felt comfortable with the fact that a tweet from someone or, some sort of scandal from across the country or across the world can impact the value of my investment, right? That just never really resonated with me, right? So I like multifamily because there's not much external things that can happen that can really impact the value, right? We saw that with cryptocurrency, with the Elon Musk tweets, even in the stock market, right? I mean, a tweet here or a scandal in a corporation there can impact the value of an investment, and it just does not resonate with me. Now, even within the real estate space, I think multifamily is still much more stable. As we saw during COVID, asset classes like retail and commercial and office space, right? I mean, a lot of those really tanked, right? And they really struggled and are still struggling, honestly, in terms of vacancy, filling them up back to rents pre-COVID. I mean, there's just a lot of factors going against these asset classes, whereas multifamily is continuing to stay in demand, attractive, a lot of capital is seeking it, right? So that stability aspect to me is a massive advantage of multifamily. Number 2 reason I like multifamily, I think it's the best asset class to invest in, is stable cash flows, right? Now, I don't think it's necessarily the primary wealth driver, right? Having the cash flows come from multifamily, but having consistent revenues come in on a month-to-month basis and create some sort of cash-on-cash return on a month-to-month basis, I think is incredibly powerful, right? Because you're never losing money sitting on the investment. That's rule number 1, right? And you can still continue to collect pretty decent checks while you're investing in an asset class and markets that you really believe in, right? So having that consistent revenue, the consistent cash flows come in is absolutely critical. The number 3 point that I love about multifamily is the leverage and the financing. Now, the leverage obviously is not unique to multifamily. You can certainly get levered up across all different assets of real estate. Obviously, that is a differentiating feature of real estate versus other asset classes. But what I like about multifamily specifically is typically your leverage can go a little bit higher, right, than maybe something like a retail or office space building. Again, very generally, obviously there's exceptions to this rule. But the other thing I really like about it is the type of debt we can get is really great and creative, right? Especially as we go into commercial multifamily, you can get creative loan structures, right, where you can get things like interest-only periods. You can potentially sometimes get interest reserves funded to you. You can also get construction finance, right? So especially if you're doing any sort of value add, you can get construction finance into loans. Sometimes you don't necessarily have to raise that as additional equity. That's just additional terms that can really help drive returns and really help you execute in the business plan. That's also not even to, we're not even going to go down the path of recourse versus non-recourse debt options, and how you can get that non-recourse debt options. So there's just a lot of different factors that go into the financing component that can really make the investment even more attractive. Number 4 feature of multifamily that I think makes it super attractive is the tax benefits. Now, this can be a separate video on its own, and it will be, but the key points, of course, is you have depreciation when you invest in real estate, right? When you go into commercial multifamily too, you typically have the scale to do what's called cost segregation studies, right? Which essentially allows you to accelerate the depreciation on certain items. So you get an accelerated depreciation schedule, which actually frees up even more cash flow. So you can really take advantage of some unique, tax benefits within the multifamily space to really improve your tax write-offs and even increase cash flows while holding on to the asset. The last feature of multifamily that I think makes it so attractive, and again, maybe not necessarily super unique to real estate, but certainly compared to other asset classes, is the ability to take advantage of growing markets, right? When you invest in real estate, you're really investing into the location and the market that the asset is located in, right? And if you invest strategically, if you go to really prime locations where there's a lot of demand, a lot of growth, a lot of infrastructure, a lot of economic activity, right? Those kinds of areas over long periods of time tend to develop and grow and get pricier, right? And as investors, we can take advantage of it, right? So by investing strategically in strategic markets where we really are believers on it, you can take advantage of local market growth and use that to continue to drive returns on your investment. So those are my top 5 factors of why I really love multifamily. Hopefully that helps, guys. If you agree or disagree, make sure you put them in the comments below.